Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode on the podcast. In today's episode, I'm joined with Cillian, and it's going to be an awesome episode today because we're going to be speaking about magic, magic, autism, all that wonderful, lovely stuff, and a little bit about Cillian on Britain's Got Talent. So it's going to be a really special episode today. So Cillian, like I said before, I feel like I've already introduced you, but if there's anything else you want to say to introduce yourself, please do.
Yes, hello, I am Cillian O Connor. I'm a 14-year-old magician, Dublin born, living in Meath, and in case you missed it, I finished third on Britain's Got Talent this year.
Yeah, you did really
Yes.
well. You did really well on Britain's Got Talent.
And also, I have autism.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course. That's what I really liked about you on Britain's Got Talent, actually, Cillian, because I like that you're showing and raising awareness of that as well, while you was on there as well. So that was really good.
Yeah.
So the first question I've got, Cillian, is when was you diagnosed with autism?
I was diagnosed with autism when don't know who that was. I was diagnosed with autism when I was 2 years old. But because of the magic, it helped me like improve my social speaking skills. But I was also diagnosed with dyspraxia, which means that my hands, I wasn't really good with them. So my parents actually got me a Rubik's Cube one year. Not this one, but they got me a Rubik's Cube and they had me play around with it. So I was able to improve my hand skills so I can
Yeah.
yeah. So I can yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the magic has really improved. It's really helped me with the autism. It's you wouldn't really tell if I went up to you. You wouldn't tell at first I had autism. Yeah.
Yeah. That happens a lot. Like, I think the stigma around it is where like if people can't speak, they may think they have autism a little bit more, but I think we're all different, aren't we? We all have our own unique ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, are you good at the Rubik's Cube though, Cillian, when you do it?
Yes. If you want, I can do a piece of magic for you here.
Yeah, sure.
The mix of Rubik's Cube and an empty hat. Now watch, if I cover the cube just like this, it completely solves itself.
That's awesome. Yeah, just like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, speaking about magic, why and how did you get into doing magic, Kenny?
Well, I would have done a bit of magic between the ages of 4 and 5, but I kind of fell off. But then when I was 7 years old, I was over in England for a festival that my relatives hold every year. And my uncle, he came up to me. He wasn't a magician, but he came up to me and he's like, "Hey, Cillian, do you want to see a magic trick?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's see it." So he came up to me and he does this one right here. And they puts it back together. And I was so scared that it would have been on a field. I ran around the entire field. I was that scared because I thought my phone would just fall off one day. So, but that was the first piece of magic that I'd seen with my own eyes. But what really got me into magic, it was Izzy Simpson on Britain's Got Talent in 2017. Because she would have been like the most popular kid magician on Britain's Got Talent. So I'm sure that there were a lot of other kid magicians that had watched it, but she was like a huge step up in the world of magic. And she was a big inspiration for me. So that's what really got me into magic. And after I watched her on BGT, I was like, I want to go on BGT and I want to meet Izzy Simpson. But my parents, they had to keep explaining that she lived in another country. She lived in England. I lived in Ireland, so I wouldn't be able to. But I kept on saying I want to go meet Izzy, and they eventually got in touch with Izzy's grandfather. So they arranged a meetup. So we flew over to England, into Blackpool, and that's where I met Izzy. And that's actually where I found out about the biggest magic convention in the world. Now, if you had to take a guess, where would you say the biggest magic convention in the world is?
Would it be America?
America. That's what you would think. It's actually in Blackpool. The most popular magic convention in the world is in Blackpool. Lovely place, gotta say.
Yeah.
So it's every year around the middle of February. So every year since 2018, I've been going to the Blackpool Magic Convention.
Yeah. And you show. So when you go and do that, do you have your own stall where you're doing your stuff?
They don't have stalls for people to show off their magic, but they would have like stalls for magic companies to sell off like decks of cards or new magic tricks. And at the end of every night, they have 2 gala shows. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And at the 2022 one, on the Sunday gala show, I was the opening act. So what I did was I would walk out with a newspaper. I would tear it once, tear it twice, tear it 3 times. It's actually the same trick that I did in the final. Put it back together, restored.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Because you do so much magic, do you have one that like you really like a trick that's your favorite at all?
A trick, yes, I do have a trick that's my favorite, and it's this one right here. Now, I won't be able to do it right now, but I'll explain it. So, a spectator would cut a portion of the deck. Yeah. They drop it into my hands. I would be able to tell them how many cards are there, and then they would deal the cards face up while I'm looked away, and I'd be able to tell them every single card.
Really? That's awesome. Yeah. It's like you know their mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question I have, Cillian, is what was your what was the experience on Britain's Got Talent like for you?
It was a great experience because everyone it was just a friendly environment. There was no hate between any of the acts. We were all buddies to each other. Everyone was. So I really enjoyed the experience, and also to perform on stage 3 times, I think really helped with my social skills. So Britain's Got Talent was, it was a great experience for me.
Yeah.
Makes
you more confident.
Yeah, it did make me more confident. Yeah, definitely did.
Yeah. You would think it's the opposite, really, because the amount of people are watching, like on telly and the audience as well. Like when you would act, Cillian, would you worry about how many people are watching you, or would you just concentrate on the magic?
I would just be concentrating on the magic. When I was up on the stage, you could see during the audition round, I was kind of tense while going through it, but I faced my fear, so I was very happy with what I did, and I was very emotional after the audition. Yeah.
I can imagine. What do you think? It was a shock that you got as far as you did? Getting third, getting to the final and everything. Do you think that was quite surprising, or did you think that you could do that before you got there?
Yeah, it was very surprising. But my dream was just to get on Britain's Got Talent, and by being shown on TV in the audition rounds, that meant that I got my dream. So I'd accomplished it. So anything after that would have just been a bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. Like, it'll probably be something that you'll always remember for like probably the rest of your life, won't it? That
Yeah.
I've been on Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But yeah. So Cillian, I was very impressed with your magic. On Britain's Got Talent. But with doing it, and like, do you think that was a really good platform for you to raise awareness of autism as well? Because I know you mentioned it a couple of times while you was on there.
Yeah, it would have been. It was a great platform, as it's the biggest reality TV show in Britain, and at the best reality competition show 2023, Britain's Got Talent won.
Yeah, that's really
See if we
awesome.
can get it there. Okay.
Yeah, I see that.
Yes, there it is right there. And I got to keep the trophy. Woo woo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very good trophy. It's quite big as well.
Yes. Uh yeah.
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 Um
Yeah, it was pretty good. Like, how was it with like the judges? Because like you got Simon Cowell, you had Alicia, Bruno, and Amanda Holden. Like, how was it like interacting with them like on the panel?
yeah, the judges were very friendly as well. It was just before the final backstage. We were behind the what's it? You know how they had that big screen that would open up and all the
Yeah,
acts would run out?
yeah, yeah.
Behind there, I saw Bruno was on the other side. So I'm like, Bruno, it's me, And he was like, oh, all of you acts, the Ghetto Kids, Liliana, Vigo, I hope you all do brilliantly tonight. Good luck. So the judges were very friendly backstage as well as in through the show. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then Anton Deck, of course. How was it like with interacting with them?
Um, yeah, they were out of the two. I no, and I'm not gonna say that. I don't think Deck would like me if I said that. So, it's my
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was very good talking to them. They're very friendly. Out of the four judges and the two of them, yeah, it is still my favorite.
yeah.
And actually, they would have been involved with my semi-final act in turning the box over. So, I was in the lobby. That's where all the acts would have hung out. And my dad, he told me, "Oh, Cillian, Ant and Deck are on stage, and they're practicing turn the box over. How about you go say hello to them?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I walked down, I'm like, "Ant, Deck, how are you?" And they're like, "Oh, Cillian, how are you, mate? You doing well? Yeah, that's good. Yeah."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
must have been a really good like that's even extra really, isn't it? Like going to Got Talent, you get to meet Aaron Deck, you get to meet all the judges. It's kind of dream
Yeah.
come true really for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But with your like three acts, did you have like an act on there that like a performance that you done? Did you have a favorite, or did you just like all the ones that you done?
My favorite act would have to be the semi-final because it was very visual. Like the vanish, it was just poof, he's gone. And I think that running through it all went really well. Like everything worked perfectly from the wand appearing to the sign silk traveling into the apple. It was all perfect. So that would have been my favorite act.
Yeah.
My yeah.
Yeah, your favorite act, yeah, of
That
your
act.
act, your favorite act of your act, not in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was all very fun, like seeing it. Like I'm one who doesn't normally watch Britain's Got Talent, actually, Cillian, but I watched it when I found out like views on it, because there's not a lot of good autism. We don't find a lot of people who on these shows who are autistic, and that they show that on there. So that is one of the reasons I decided to watch it, purely because of you, really.
Yeah, but there should be a lot more, because autism, as I said in the audition rounds, it's not a disability, it's an ability. The more you look into your autism, you'd be able to find a skill that you can do. Mine would be magic, but for others it could be art. It could vary for other people with autism, but they should always be able to use it as a talent and to their advantage.
Yeah.
Another thing is with the autism, obviously it means my brain is a little different, but I have like a great memory, because I'd be able to memorize a lot of things, from the flags of the world to oh, maybe I don't have such a great memory. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like you say, we all have, let's say, our special interests, as we say. Like yours is magic.
Yeah.
I got given when I was about your age. I got given a like a, I think it was a Christmas, some sort of magic set, and I had no clue what I was doing. You had the cards in there, you had like the wand, and you had everything, and I've no clue what I'm doing. So you must be so cool, because like you did the Rubik's cube. It's like it's all together in a blink of a second. So you are very good what you do, Cillian.
Yeah. Going back to the autism, the fine motor skills, that would be sensory autism. So, oh no, sensory autism is, I'd be able to, like, if I were to walk into a room or some place that I'd never been before, I'd be able to take one look and I just have everything in my head. So I'd be able to walk around and know where I am, because I just have it all mapped out in my head.
Yeah.
But another thing is facing my fears. One of my biggest fears would be balloons. That's what the sensory autism is. I don't have a good memory. Okay, I do, but I don't. It varies based on my mood. But the balloons, I just can't stand the noise of them popping, because I can't tell you why. I just can't, like, and just loud noises in general. It just like hurts my ears. So like,
I get that. Yeah.
Let's say I don't know, someone were to come into here with a bunch of balloons and just yeah.
Yeah. I get that as well. Not with balloons, but I'm quite sensitive too of my autism, so it'll be very different. So if I'm eating like a meal, for example, I always bring the example of soup, because with soup I don't like the noise when people make so much noise when they're eating with their cutlery. And if with soup you don't really have to make any noise. It's almost like a drink, isn't it? So if someone makes a noise one-on-one, I'll get irritated and say, "Can you please stop it? I don't like the noise." It's like a chalkboard, like in the olden days. But if there's a group of people doing that, I won't mind as much, because it's like natural. Like you have a lot of people doing that at once. But I'm quite sensitive with that type of thing. But I understand the balloons, because they can be quite of a shock if you don't expect it as well.
Yeah. Another one, it's not really a fear, but like whenever I'm eating food, there's something like the texture is just ugh. And I also wouldn't normally eat like hot food, like peppers. I wouldn't. I'd have to wait a bit for like the food to cool down, and then I'd have to eat it. Yeah, I can't tell you why. It's just the autism.
Yeah, just the autism. Yeah. It's all dependent on, like, we have different textures that we like foods or anything really. It might even go down to wearing clothes. You might prefer certain clothes to wear, or anything, or
Yeah.
like Yeah, like when I
Yeah.
do these podcasts, Killian, I have one of these, so I just fiddle with it. It's like it's like a stimming kind
Oh
of
yeah.
thing, and then I'm just doing that. And I don't know because I used to play with a pen, which I broke it, so I decided to get one of these because I'll take the pen apart, and then there'll be no pen there. So I find when if not if it's not even nerves, it's just something to fidget with.
Obviously, people of birthday parties or relatives of birthday parties, and you may be invited, and I'd be invited to one. I walk in, and like in the window, I see a bunch of balloons. I walk in, the doors covered in balloons. In the kitchen, a bunch of balloons, and I'm just like, please don't pop, please don't pop. I'm like, just like this in real life, that please don't pop, please don't pop.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. It's just the fear of the sound, or is it a fear of the sound or fear of like how loud it would be?
Um, Probably a fear of how loud it would be.
Yeah,
Um, Obviously, just loud noises in general. So not only balloons, but also like fireworks or marching bands that are like, yeah,
yeah, yeah. I agree with you with fireworks because I don't like fireworks because you can't really hear yourself think. Well, when they're all going at the same time, and
yeah.
yeah, and the sparklers. I don't like holding them because I'm almost afraid it's gonna come back at me.
Me neither. I
Yeah,
would not stand 30 feet within a sparkler.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like people be like, it's fine, it's fine. It'll just sparkle, and I said, it might sparkle at me though. I don't want it to sparkle at me. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. But Killian, lastly, last question. If you could give some like some advice from about autism in your personal experience, what would you give? Like, what would you say?
With my personal experience with autism, I would say it affected me from when I was diagnosed until I was 7, or yeah, around 7, because that's when I learned a skill that the autism could help me. The autism could help me with. So I think around 7 is when that's when my autism kind of improved. You couldn't really notice it. So the advice would be just for people with autism, look for a certain skill that could help you improve it. Like mine was magic, and as I said, it could be any skill in the world. I've seen people who've been flown over like cities and they're able to draw the entire skyline by memory. So art, things like that would be great for autism, because it'd be great for you because you're able to talk to people about it and socialize that um and you're able to like focus on the good things in life. So the good things with autism in general. So as I was saying, just focus on the good things that you can achieve with autism, not the bad things. Um, and because if you just have autism, you'd be on the outside of the box looking inside the box. But with me, after I'd done BGT and my social skills had improved, I was on the inside looking out. So I'll say it again. It's great for people with autism to learn a skill because they'll be able to talk to other people and um, they'd be able to socialize. So I guess learning a skill would be the best idea.
Yeah, learning a skill, that's perfect, I think, because we all have our skills, if it's magic, if it's an interest about, I don't know, a TV show or something else. But yeah, I think that's perfect
Yeah,
advice. Thanks, Killian. I hope you've enjoyed coming on and sharing
I
your
have.
story and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been really good to hear about it.
Just one last thing for anyone watching right now. what Simon Cowell said in the semi-final. Dog, don't give up on your dreams. Only you can create your story and go the distance. I've been Cillian O Connor. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thanks, Cillian.
I'm not going to walk away. Too
Yeah.
cocky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Cillian. Thanks
That's
to anyone watching, listening today, and we'll sort of see you in the next episode. And this was a really fun episode today.
Yes.